Hello, everyone. My name is James Coulter, psychotherapist at My Therapy NYC. We're a group private practice located in the Flatiron district of Manhattan. Tonight's webinar is on understanding depression and ways to cope with it. But before we get into this webinar, we are going to take care of a few housekeeping items, okay? So number one, there's a delay. So if you are writing questions on the side, I won't be able to see that for a few seconds after, okay? Number two, there's a poll question, and it's at the bottom right of the screen, and we will be answering that poll question at the end. So I encourage you to participate in that. And number three, the last thing is if you're writing questions on the side again, I won't be able to see those until later, but I encourage you to write some questions while we are in the webinar, okay? So let's get this show on the road. Depression. All right. So the objectives for tonight: to understand the difference between sadness and depression, to explore some causes of depression, to recognize how depression can affect us, and to learn positive ways people can cope with depression. So, what is sadness? Sadness is defined as an expression of grief or unhappiness. Sadness is a feeling that everyone experiences for various reasons. Okay, some examples of sadness are feeling sad about a movie. Maybe it had a sad ending and you felt a little emotional at the end. Or experiencing sadness at the loss of a pet. Or perhaps students out there, if you failed the test, that can create some sadness. Not getting that promotion that you were in line for at work, that will bring about some sadness. Okay, relationships. The end of a relationship can bring sadness. If this webinar does not go well, I imagine that I will be sad. Okay? All righty, a little light humor to break the ice. So, what is depression? Depression is an abnormal emotional state. There are many different types of depression. This mental illness affects the way a person feels, thinks, and behaves. And with these many different types of depression, we're only going to focus on one particular tonight. Okay, major depressive disorder. So let's take a look at the video blog on major depressive disorder. These are some types of depression that you can take note of and also go back and take a look at later on. Okay, pay attention to the last one, dysthymia. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Hello, everyone. My name is James Coulter, and I'm a psychotherapist at My Therapy NYC. We are located in the Flatiron district of Manhattan. Today, I'm here to talk to you about depression. So, what is depression? I'm so glad you asked me. Depression affects the way we feel, think, and behave. But today, I'm going to tell you about a particular type of depression, which is called major depressive disorder. It's listed in the DSM-5. It's what mental health professionals use to understand and diagnose mental illnesses. But in the DSM-5, it states that in order to suffer from that particular type of depression, which can be mild, moderate, or severe, you will need to have at least 5 of the 9 symptoms listed in the criteria. And of those 5 symptoms, 1 must include a depressed mood all day, nearly every day, or the loss of interest and pleasure. So, what are these 9 things? I'm so glad you asked. Number 1, a depressed mood all day, nearly every day. Or, number 2, the loss of interest and pleasure. This could be something as simple as walking your dog. Number 3, significant weight loss while not dieting or weight gain. Typically, a 5% shift in your weight up or down could be a sign of depression. Number 4, insomnia or hypersomnia. People suffering from depression can sleep for 10, 12, 14 hours a day and wake up exhausted. Number 5, psychomotor agitation or retardation nearly every day. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. This feels like being off balance, confused, not knowing where to put things, not knowing where you put things. Number 6, fatigue or loss of energy. This is harsh because it stops you. You can't move. You can't get out of bed. You can't go to work. Number 7, feelings of worthlessness or inappropriate guilt. Blaming yourself for stuff that you know you don't have nothing to do with. Logically, honestly, realistically, it just don't fit. But you owning it, and it's not yours. Number 8, the diminished ability to think or concentrate. Can't make up your mind. You don't know what you're going to wear to work. You don't know what route you're going to take to work. You don't know if you're going to work. Number 9, recurrent thoughts of death. This isn't just being afraid of dying. This is about thinking about ending your life. This is about saying, I don't want to be here anymore. This is about saying, you know what? I want to end it. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They want to push it aside. But it's real. It's happening. This is the harshest form of depression, but it fits this diagnosis, and we need to talk about it. And if you any different types of depression, that is the one that we're focusing on tonight. Here's the written version of it. I figured the video blog would be much easier to take in and understand and process maybe. Okay? And let's go to the next slide. Persistent depressive disorder. This is the one that I said take a look at the last one on the list of other types of depression that we talked about. It's also called dysthymia. It's less severe than major depressive disorder, MDD. You may hear me say MDD throughout this webinar. I'm referring to major depressive disorder, okay? A person can exhibit fewer symptoms than MDD, but the duration of dysthymia lasts at least for 2 years and 1 year for children. Yes, children can be depressed, okay? So the difference between the two, duration, okay, and less symptoms. All right. So, what are some of the causes of depression? You've got illness, heart disease, HIV/AIDS, cancer, diabetes, obesity, career, the fear of losing a job, unemployment, or a job you hate, and relationships, breakups, domestic violence, infidelity. And finances, of course, finances, money can be a big problem. Not making enough money or overspending or maybe too much credit card debt. Okay? So, depression. I worked with a client that was diagnosed as being HIV positive. And once he received his diagnosis, his perception on life changed. He lost interest in the things that he once loved, and his mood was affected. And he had a negative outlook on things. And it really affected him. And he also expressed that, when he found out that he was HIV positive, that he was traumatized. And this trauma was reinforced on a daily basis. Every time he would take his medication, he said that he was re-traumatized by the diagnosis and his current situation, and it just affected the way he felt. Okay? Let's go into the next slide. How depression can affect us. Well, trouble getting out of bed. Depression will make you want to stay in bed all day. Just pull the covers over your head and sleep the day away. Okay, but that's not a good thing to do. But this is what depression will make us feel like doing. Hygiene becomes compromised. Okay, unable to go to work, loss of friends seem to disappear because maybe you stop associating with people. Maybe you stop being social. Maybe you haven't been going to events that you were invited to, and people stop inviting you because they didn't know you were suffering from depression. They just figured you didn't show up. Okay? And it also interferes with intimate relationships. This is a big problem that I have seen in my practice, that relationships suffer. And intimacy can be a problem. When you're depressed, you're not in the mood for intimacy. Let's go back to hygiene for a minute. I want to talk a little bit about that. You are battling depression. You know, the loss of energy and the fatigue, it will make you lose interest in some simple things like bathing and grooming yourself and oral hygiene. Those things suffer. I worked with a client that really suffered through this stage, and I saw it happen gradually. And this was a guy that, you know, dressed really sharp, from head to toe, smelled good and everything. And suddenly he stopped grooming himself. He didn't shave. His clothes became soiled, and oral hygiene became a problem for him. And we talked about it, and we processed it, and he said, I just didn't have the energy or the desire to do the small things for myself, and self care suffered. Okay, so this is one of the ways that it can affect you. Depression manifests in our bodies. Well, often people will complain about their neck and back pains and headaches and fatigue and confusion. It's depression can get in our bodies. We can feel it, and sometimes we might not understand what we're feeling, but we feel some pain and some discomfort, and that's due to depression. It takes over our bodies. It affects our bodies and our brain, and this is serious, and it's helpful to have this information. Okay, all right. Let's go on to the next slide. Negative ways people cope with depression: substance misuse and abuse, not eating or overeating. Some people decide to self medicate their depression with drugs or alcohol, while others may choose to overindulge in comfort foods. In my practice, I have seen that this negative way of coping with depression never makes a person feel better about themselves. Remember that you are fighting depression. You need energy. So don't weigh yourself down with unhealthy substances. All right? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to tell you how to beat depression. Let's get out of that funk. All right. I have prepared 3 positive ways to cope with depression, and they are divided into 3 parts within this webinar. Number 1, get into a routine. Getting into a routine will add structure to what feels like a confusing day. Planning your day should include the time you plan to wake up in the morning and your bedtime. The sleep you get at night has a strong influence on how you will feel when your alarm clock goes off in the morning. Remember that fighting fatigue and loss of interest can make you feel like staying in bed, but don't. Okay? So create a sleep schedule a bedtime, prepare yourself for bed, set your clock to wake up. All right, next slide. Eat healthy. Although comfort foods are tempting when you're depressed, it actually makes you more depressed after consumption. Make healthy eating part of your daily routine. A balanced diet provides more energy to burn. Stay hydrated with water and salsa. Sugary drinks can make you feel bloated and tired after the sugar crash. Some people may choose to see a nutritionist. Do what works for you, okay? So eat healthy, buy healthy foods containing protein and fiber. A balanced diet provides more energy. Drink water or salsa instead of those sugary drinks. All right. Get moving, okay? Exercising is very valuable while combating depression. Exercise may seem like a huge barrier while you're depressed, so I suggest taking small and gradual steps. Don't put too much on yourself. Let it be realistic. Um, One of my clients, he really nailed this one, and I found it interesting. And he suggested that I share it in his webinar. He's very busy, never has time to work out, so he decided that instead of taking the subway that's closest to his home, he would walk to the next station. And then when he was on his way home from work, he would do the same. So this little adjustment that he made allowed him to lose some weight. He lost 5 pounds in a month just from walking to the next train station and home from work. Okay? So get moving. Find out what works for you. Okay? So get moving. Take a short walk each day. Join a gym. There's lots of gyms out there available. Pretty much you can join one for less than $20 a month now. Okay? Discover what works for you. All right. The second part of positive ways to cope with depression is creating a healthy lifestyle. Okay? Hate their depression. This is not only dangerous, but it increases your depressive symptoms. Okay? And this will cause your depression to increase in severity, and the duration can last longer. Substances and alcohol interferes with your feelings, cognition, and behavior. Depression is already interfering with those abilities. Don't add fuel to the fire. Okay? Remember that alcohol is a depressant. Substances and alcohol interferes with feelings, cognition, and behavior. And if you find that alcohol and substances is a challenge for you, seek support. All right. Challenge your thinking process. Okay? Depression affects the way we feel, think, and behave. So when you're thinking negatively about yourself, explore that thought for accuracy. Depression can make you feel helpless and unaccomplished. Think about your accomplishments and the tough challenges in your life and how you survive. Okay? Depression can make you feel helpless and unaccomplished. Do something different and go outside of your comfort zone. Maybe a walk will prove that you're not as tired as you think. Maybe that short or long walk will make you tired, which can justify your fatigue. Then you can rest comfortably without feeling badly about yourself. Okay, if you've never been to a movie before alone or out to dinner alone, make it fun for yourself. Some people say that's boring and lonely, but it doesn't have to be. Remember that you are battling depression. In order for the symptoms to decrease, you will need to be active in the fight. Okay, you've got to stand up to the fight. You've got to get involved because it's not going to go away without you actively battling depression. All right. Next slide. You want to maintain responsibility. Don't call out sick from work, even if you want to. Force yourself to go. Okay? And you'll feel accomplished when you get home. Keep your personal space clean. Dust, dirt, and clutter can affect your mood. And with major depressive disorder being a mood disorder, you don't need anything else to affect your mood negatively anyway. Okay? Maintain your grooming. Remember, we talked about hygiene before. Maintain your grooming. This is important because when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can do good things. Stay connected with family and friends, even if you want to isolate yourself. Resist it. Get involved. Maybe go to that social event. Stay for an hour. At least you can show your face and say you went, then people will start inviting you again. Okay? All right. So the third positive way that people cope with depression, they seek support. Often, you can't do it alone. Some people can, but some people, need help. And seeking support is a great idea. That a friend might not be able to offer. When you're in therapy and you share some of your personal thoughts and feelings and emotions, you want it to be someplace safe, someplace confidential, and a place where you can feel trusted and be sure that your thoughts are going to stay there. Talking to friends is helpful, but some conversations are outside the scope of friendships. Okay, so keep that in mind. These people cope with depression, they seek support, and the benefits of psychotherapy. All right, working with a trained professional allows you an outlet for your emotions. Okay, offers a different perspective, giving words to your feelings and emotions. It's kind of like finding your voice in therapy, finding a way to express what you're feeling and thinking, and not feeling judged about that, right? Okay, and confidentiality is very important because when you're battling depression or any other illness, you want to make sure that confidentiality is a priority. You want to make sure that the things that you say stays in that room and it's protected. You may tell a good friend something and they may say that they don't gossip, and that's nice to believe, but in most cases, people tell at least one other person, and that person tells at least one other person. So I think you get the idea, right? In any event, the benefits of psychotherapy will increase the chances of resolving the core of depression. Finding out, when did it start? What triggered it for you? Often people suffering from depression, they don't know when it started. I talked about my client that realized, once his diagnosis of HIV, he knew that started it. But some other situations, people don't know because depression can start out slow and then it can increase and suddenly you're stuck in it and you don't know how it started, but you're in it. Okay. And psychotherapy can help you explore when and how it started and start working on ways to get out of it. All right. And the benefits of exploring psychotropic medication. The main thing here is it reestablishes the chemical balance in your brain. It relieves the symptoms of depression. Okay, some of the medications used to fight depression are Lexapro, Zoloft, Wellbutrin. That's just a few here, but there's tons of medication available to help with this um, diagnosis. Okay, so explore your options, find the best one for you, speak with your doctor. All right, and the combination of psychotropic medication and psychotherapy offers a healthy emotional balance. It's like adding another tool to help you fight this mental illness. Okay, so you need everything that you can between you being active and getting involved with your depression and fighting it and actively doing things to change your mood. Psychotropic medication and psychotherapy, you're on your way to feeling better. It's going to take some time, but you'll feel better. All right, so now the poll question. I hope everyone was participating and um, expressing what they felt about the poll question. So we'll start. What's the most effective way for you to improve your mood? Poll questions results. All right. See over here we have talking with friends, 38%. Okay, talking with friends. Talking with friends is good. Support from friends can be helpful. It can decrease the shame and stigmas associated with depression and cut down on isolation. But make sure that you are confiding in someone that you trust and respect. Okay? All right. And B, exercise. What do we have? 25% for exercise. Exercising is a great way to reduce stress. People often feel better after a workout. Committing to a workout will have long lasting effects and you'll feel accomplished and you'll feel some self worth. All right. C, a good meal. 25% for a good meal. All right. A good meal is enjoyable. A good meal can be very satisfying and it fuels the body. Preparing the meal can be fun and exciting. Maybe have a friend over to join you, or a trip to your favorite restaurant after work on a day off, or maybe plan brunch with a friend. Be mindful of eating healthy, but a treat every once in a while, it won't hurt. Okay? All right. D, a drink. Oh, 0%. No drinkers out there. Okay. A drink can really relax you after a long day, but remember to drink in moderation. Also, keep in mind that alcohol is a depressant. So be mindful of your mood while or after a drink or two. And avoid drinking if it's not your thing. And based on these poll results, it doesn't seem like it's your thing, guys. And that's good. And E, we have a nap or a good night's sleep. No one, 0% for that. Okay, this is good. Okay? Napping or a good night's sleep can restore your energy level. Okay? It is it's best to plan your bedtime and to prepare yourself for bed. A warm bath or a shower can relax your body at night, which will enable you to sleep well. But keep naps to a minimum. The fatigue associated with depression may make you feel like napping frequently and for long periods of time. F, we have sex. 13% said sex. Sex will definitely shift your mood. Okay? This can be enjoyed with someone or alone. It depends on your preference at the time. Okay? However, just like anything else, moderation is the key. All right, so we've got through those poll questions. I'm liking these results. Some are still coming in, but we've already completed that. So I encourage people to ask questions now. This is the time for our questions. So you can write your questions along the side, and time to reach that. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So we've got one question. How can I help a friend who is depressed? Well, talk to them. You know, let them know what you've witnessed. Let them know what you've observed, and be kind while you're expressing your concerns. Don't judge them. Make them feel comfortable about the conversation. And show them this webinar, show them the video blog, and watch it with them, and maybe that would be helpful. Okay. Uh, Another question. All right. I think I am suffering from depression, but my family says that I am lazy. What should I do? Trust your feelings. Trust your feelings. If you think that you are suffering from depression, trust your feelings. Okay, and seek professional help. Okay, seek professional help, and review the webinar and the video blog, and show it to your family, and let them see what they think about it. But don't doubt your feelings. If you're feeling it, get it checked out. All right. Another question. Okay. I believe my husband is suffering from depression, but he says that men don't become depressed. Okay. All righty. Well, you know what? Depression does not discriminate on race, age, sexual orientation, or gender. Depression will affect anyone, anywhere, anytime. Okay. So keep that in mind, and good luck with that. Let's see, more questions. Got them on both sides. What are some tips you would give to have a healthy relationship with sex while having depression? Okay. Well, it's good to explain to your partner what you're going through. First of all, they need to know. If this is someone that you're having sex with, you should be able to talk to them. And if you express what you're feeling and tell them what you're needing at the time or not needing, then I think that the conversation will open up the window for a much larger conversation. And this will help you understand the type of person that you're in a relationship with. If they can't be there for you and understand what's happening, then that's a different conversation, right? Okay. All right. Let's see. How can you get someone to understand they need to go into psychotherapy if you think they are a harm to themselves or others? Well, so be careful with this, because if you think that they are a harm to themselves, then this is very important, because in my video blog, I stressed thoughts of death, and thoughts of ending your life, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it. So if someone's presenting this to you and you're pretty sure about it, you need to get involved. You need to get involved. You need to have a serious conversation with them. You need to find out if they have a plan for possibly ending their life, or is it just like these thoughts that come in and out of their head? Get them connected to care. They're going to need to seek help. This isn't something that they should be battling alone. So when we start talking about a danger to themselves or to others, we really need to be careful with this, and we need to address it and, address it accordingly. And keep in mind, be respectful and kind as you express these feelings, because they're going to need that. All right. Okay. Another question. What is the best way to support someone with depression? Be there for them. Just be there for them, and check in on them. And, especially if they've said, I'm suffering from depression, that means that they trust you and they've confided in you, and that they are willing to share what's happening in their life, and they respect you. And if you want to help them and support them, you'd be kind to them, and check in on them and invite them out, and understand that maybe they'll show up for an hour. Okay, but be supportive. Alrighty, so that concludes our questions for tonight. This webinar has been amazing. I hope that it's been helpful for everyone. And counseling and wellness services. We provide individual and couples therapy. We have gay men's therapy groups and a meditation and mindful group. For more information, please visit us at mytherapynyc.com. Thank you for watching this webinar, and make sure you tune in for the replay tomorrow. Okay? Thanks so much. Have a good night.